Joining me now, rejoining me once again, Dr. Ann Truong, MD. Doctor, this anti-malaria drug, there's a case out of Florida, and obviously you don't want to pin your hopes on one case, but this gentleman, 52 years old, literally was on his deathbed, and he was saying goodbye to people, and he took the anti-malaria drug in combination with, I think, some Benadryl or something, and bam, he's recovered. I know that you got to be skeptical and you have to approach this scientifically, and that's not scientific. I know it's not. But that does give you some hope, doesn't it?
Well, yes. The drug you're talking about is called chloroquine, or the brand name Plaquenil. It's been used for malaria drugs, and it was developed in actually 1934. It's also a drug used for rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. It has an anti-immunity, but it also shows antiviral activity. It's interestingly is that drug prevents the virus from going into your cells and fuse into your cell. The virus is very interesting. It goes into your cells, and then it tells your cell to replicate protein to make more of itself, and then the cell die and burst more of the virus and infect other cells. So the drug prevents the fusion of the virus into the cell. Now, you have to be aware that if you have diabetes or have heart disease, it's a contraindication to take the medication. The medication is not for COVID-19, but we are like you said, there's some cases that have been they tried that out, and I believe in China and Italy, they're trying that out as well. But we have to pick the cases accordingly and have to make sure that it is safe.
Yeah, but if you're on your deathbed, the federal government has loosened up the FDA requirements where doctors like you can say yes. Go ahead and try it, and you never know. I mean, if you're about to die, why not take the risk and take the drug? And it is obviously a calculated risk because we know about this drug. It's been on the market now for, 70, 80 years. I want to talk to you about the supply chain. We're hearing a lot of mis and disinformation about the supply chain, the N95 masks and the ventilators. What are you hearing from the front lines right now, your colleagues either in the ER or treating coronavirus patients?
Well, what I'm hearing is that the PPE or protective personal equipment, they're running low and they're rationing it. They're not out of it, but they're rationing the gowns, and they're rationing the masks, and goggles are being wiped down and used again, and so are the N95 masks are being wiped down and reused. And when I say ration, it means that that it has to be checked out to a person for the right indication. Versus if you needed gowns or masks before, you can just go in the closet and grab it and use it. But now you have to go to another person to check it out and make sure that you're using it for the right patient as well. Another fact about that too is that these masks and gowns were manufactured in China and Europe. So with what's going on right now with the coronavirus, the production of that is also decreased. So, I want to mention something that we have to think about the ER staff, the ER doctors, the nurses, and the first responders who are out there fighting this invisible enemy. And they're putting themselves at risk as well as their family. I have colleagues that after a shift at the ER, he's going home and isolating himself in the basement and have not been close to his family in the last 8 days.
Yeah.
And they're working on a contingency plan that if they do have symptoms, they're going to isolate themselves somewhere, for 14 days. And a lot of doctors are checking themselves daily, twice a day for temperature changes or having any symptoms. But we have to be realistic that there's a chance that they will get the virus as well. What's going to happen if the people that take care of us get the virus? Who's going to take care of the sick people as well? too. So we have to think about what the worst scenarios are.
I think, as you put it, heroes can sometimes wear scrubs, and in this case, that's what's happening. We also have to have a national conversation about allowing certain parts of critical national security infrastructure, like gowns, surgical gowns, and masks and such, to be produced in communist China, as well as, even more importantly, allowing things like penicillin, the 90%, 95% of our penicillin, to be produced in communist China. This is maybe a silver lining throughout all this mess of the Wuhan coronavirus. Dr. Truong, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.